Hello, Sue.
Hello, Michael.
How are you?
I'm good.
Can you introduce yourself to the listening public?
In what capacity?
How do we know each other?
You're my supervisor. I'm an integrative counselor and coach. Um, I'm Sue Brown,
You are.
and I currently work in an higher education establishment, delivering specialist mentoring to with mental health and neurodivergent students.
Excellent. How long have you been doing that job?
I've been doing it for 2 years.
2 years. Wow,
Yeah,
2 years has flown by. As your supervisor,
exactly.
I can't believe it's been that long.
Not in this capacity, yes, as my supervisor, but prior to that, I used to work in NHS for 3 years with children and young people, um, counselling service, delivering counselling to children between the ages of, um, it changed in midway from 4 to 18.
4 to 18, that's quite a age range.
Mm. And also, I also have a private practice, which you actually supervised me for as well, for adults, young people, with a range of issues.
And before that, Sue?
I used to be a probation officer for over 17 years, working and probation service officer, working with vulnerable adults and young people. I also work in youth offending team. I deliver restorative justice. I wrote reports. I help and support ex-offenders in the community, delivering services and programs. Um, I do quite a lot of stuff with them.
You really do. This will be my last point. Can you tell me about the, I want to say Pilates, but that's not it. This.
Reiki.
Thank you. I
I'm
couldn't
a Reiki
remember the word.
practitioner.
You are a Reiki practitioner.
I'm a Reiki
How
practitioner.
did you get into that?
I read a book called Celestine Prophecies by I think James Redfield, and it talked about energy and positivity and
Mm,
thinking more about, it's a bit like quantum physics kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
But it's about energy and
hmm.
healing through energy. And I'm just a vessel who's been tuned into the universal life force to deliver healing to people who would like to have it. It's quite interesting. It's lovely, actually.
When was the last time you practiced Reiki on somebody?
Um, to be pre-COVID, pre-COVID, um, that was a pregnant woman who wanted to have get ready for birth.
Mm,
And I've realized a lot of pregnant women who nearing the end, and I also did a bit of coaching with her as well to get her ready, first time mom, get her ready to reduce the anxiety and stress she was under. So the Reiki was there to relax her and get her more attuned to her baby. And also the exercises I delivered with her was to calming, grounding techniques, what to prepare her for the eventuality of anything that could happen and couldn't happen, and
mm.
actually going through the birthing experience that she went through.
It sounds brilliant. I'm wondering, do you publicize that you provide this this
We
level of
both know the
support,
answer to that is no.
and you don't because?
I'm I'm shy. I'm very shy, and also neurodivergent, because what happens is when neurodivergent people go through education and everything like that, the education system doesn't really support them as much.
Mm,
They do now, but in my time, they didn't do as much support.
yeah.
Um, So as a result, I became what can you say, withdrawn in the sense. It's not saying I can't do the work. It's just that I'm a bit conscious that my writing skills and my communication skills is not as positive, as eloquent as people expect it to be.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
My last experience in education wasn't a positive experience, and it actually put me off, as you know, put me off. Sorry, I'm getting things flashed up on my computer and it's distracting. And it's about the racism thing I'm dealing with. It put me off education for about 2 years, 3 years, because it was a negative experience, and I thought I didn't want to do any more education after that. And that reinforced the experiences I had previous to that. Does that make sense? Yeah.
And you studied what?
Well, at that time?
Yes, at that time.
My master's in integrative counselling and coaching.
Integrative counselling and coaching.
Yeah, it was the research was on can therapy help domestic abuse perpetrators move forward in their experiences, and actually it was a really good research, but the research didn't give it justice to what actually happened with the clients.
And what would you say was the main reason behind that?
As in the work.
As in, why didn't the university support you and what you found?
I feel that the supervisor was a bit biased. That was because he made a comment and it put me right off to say, you speak a different language than you do at home than you do in adverbal. And I said to him, yes, I do. But I'm also neurodivergent. But he didn't take that into consideration. So that stereotype, even more, that I took that as discrimination. And I felt, okay, there's nothing I can do here. And he kept telling me, change this, change that, change this. And I rely heavy on my support network for my writing. Yeah. And 4 different people read that research and said it was really good. Who didn't know nothing about, well, one probation officer read it, but they said it was really good, but the grade I got didn't match the kind of work that I put into it. Does it make sense? Because it kept changing it, and it became the coherence didn't work. And he also said to me, take this bit out, take that bit out. And I said to him, okay, but I want it in there. Because no, take it out. That's in my work. I don't want your work in my work. And I said, okay, then fine. So that went there. So hey.
And how would you say that affected your career as a counsellor stroke coach?
It made me feel as if I wasn't sufficient enough to do the role. It undermined my capacity to move forward. Does it make sense? So it made me shy to go, even more reserved to go forward. So in my time, when I was going to school, I was called dumb, stupid, blah, blah, blah. Not knowing I was dyslexic until 35. You know what I mean? So all that time I struggled not knowing what was going on. And I realized, that makes sense. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, so that kind of thing. But when it comes, but the feedback I get from my clients are always positive. Sue, I want to come back. Sue, can I come back if I need to? Sue, I can't afford to work with you right now, but can I come back when I can? And I said, yeah, I'm quite open to my clients. Do you know what I mean?
What does that tell you then about your skill?
That I am skilled in doing my job. I still have that barrier of education, like writing things down and communicating my point across. Because I feel that sometimes people make a judgment of what a counsellor and a coach looks like. Do you know what I mean? So when I say to people, I'm a counselor and coach, I get a look like to say, because I'm quite quirky in my own sense, as you know, because our supervision is most of the time not as serious as it should be. But I believe you don't have to be. You can be professional in and have a relaxed attitude towards the client work, and that's my kind of niche where I make people feel so comfortable talking to me, even though they don't realize that they're doing therapy.
So, which brings us to this moment that I
Mm.
wanted to kind of work with you on. I started to call it the imposter monster.
Mm.
Can you say a little bit about your imposter monster?
No, I'd like you to expand a bit more on that, if you don't mind.
Uh, Always enjoyable when you challenge me in this way, Sue. Always enjoyable. What do I mean by the imposter monster? I mean ultimately that you hold an idea that you're, and you've mentioned this before, not good enough, and that prevents you, stops you from doing the amazing work that I know as your supervisor you can do. It's almost like it tells you, I can't, and so you don't. And I'd like to take that away completely.
Thank you. I'll be waiting for it.
But do you now understand what I mean by imposter monster?
Yeah, it's not to say I don't believe that I can do the work because I know I can. Yeah, it's just mm, working, getting those negative experiences out of my head, and the negative experiences that I have, I try to make sure that my clients who have had these negative experiences mm, work through them in a way to say, you know what, you are, I'm here and I've got my masters. I didn't say it's going to be easy because it's not. It's far from easy. And working with the stereotypes of outside, what the neurotypical person expects from a neurodivergent person, is kind of difficult,
Mm,
yeah,
yeah,
to navigate. Last year, BACP recognized neurodivergency.
yes, it did.
Last year, 2022. Okay, this is now 2023. That's not far. Okay, um, the UK started recognizing neurodiversity 2020. NHS started recognizing neurodiversity where I worked. When I started saying, actually, there's a lot of neurodivergent young people coming here.
Mm,
We need to address this, and it's not
mm,
just ADHD and ADHD and autism. It's also Tourette's. It's also dyspraxia. It's also dyslexia as a myself and
mm,
other different neurodivergence. But the focus now is on ADHD and autism.
mm.
And it doesn't recognize the impact that education right now still believes that young people and older people don't have the knowledge and skills to deliver a role.
What
Does
would
that
you
make
like
sense?
to do about that?
Well, as you know, Michael, I'm a person of stretching people's ideas.
Uh, Good.
What did you laugh there, Michael? What
Yeah, I'm
happened there?
laughing because I know that our work has been stretching ideas too.
Mm-mm.
Could you continue with that, please?
Yeah, because I've got neurodivergent children. All my children are neurodivergent, diagnosed, everything. And I had to fight for my children to get for in education to what they had to do. for example, here in Kent, one of my children, my youngest one, he was struggling, and I had to highlight to the school, because he's neurodivergent, it doesn't mean he's stupid. Doesn't feel that he lacks the capacity to achieve what he needs to achieve. Einstein achieved so much, and he's dyslexic. Okay, it's how they perceive the young person. So what they've done now, because through my advocacy for the children of neurodivergency, going through my son, what I've actually done is actually help the school recognize actually these neurodivergent children who are bored and talking in class or being a class clown.
Yep.
They are the ones that are actually doing some work, right? Because you're not stretching them enough.
Yep.
So they've done Strive for 5. So basically in the UK, what the English GCSEs do, that's in secondary school, if you get a 4 and above, that's a pass. But what the school is actually saying, that they've made a smaller group of classroom for children for English, and they've recognized that if they put them in smaller groups, they can get level 5 and above. And
Wow.
so, and they can't come out of that class until they strive for 5. So that's what I've started within my, help towards the school working with neurodivergent children.
That's really impressive, sir. Okay, I'd like to just focus on this idea of imposter monster and what others have given you so that you can move beyond it. What would you say a belief that was given to you, not your own, about yourself, that was given to you that you've held on to?
That I was stupid.
Could you make that into an I statement?
No. Because that means I'll own it, and I don't own it.
Yeah, okay. So you don't own this.
No.
But you've held on to it.
It's been imposed on me, but
yes.
I'm not going to make it, I'm not going to say it, because if I say I, that means I am accepting what they say, and I'm not accepting what they say.
But the challenge here is you're not accepting it, but you've held on to it.
I've held on to it, to giving me determination not to prove them wrong.
So it's been a device of motivation.
Yes.
Would you also say that the device of motivation has held you back?
In some sense, yes.
In what sense?
It's been years. So I've taken this time. When I had long COVID last year, I'm still going through, coming out the other end of it this year. I've decided to work on myself.
Yeah.
And working on myself is letting go of the negativity that's been surrounding me for a long time. And not just externally, as in relationships as well, within relationships as well. So what I've decided to do is actually let it go.
Yes.
And in the letting go process, it's hurtful, but it's a necessity for me to survive.
Yep.
Make sense?
It does.
Okay, good.
So what you've just spoken about is an idea of letting it go as opposed to let go. It's not gone yet.
I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. As in, don't do the English with me now. See, that's what I'm saying. Don't start the English. All right, right. So this is what I'm thinking about. Not English language is not that fantastic, yeah. And people misconstrued what I'm trying to say, which is not. That's the reason why counseling is really good to me, because I don't talk. And I just listen. But it's about reaffirming. So I'm going to say to you what I said to everybody else when I work with them. I'm saying to them, if it doesn't make sense, ask me. Seek clarification, because I will seek clarification from you.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes,
so
you do.
I'll give that. So letting go means I let go. I've let go of it. I'm not
Right.
going to hold on to
Yes.
anything that's
Yes.
negative.
Got it.
Make sense?
Yes, that's clear.
Okay.
I like the fact that you challenge me on this, as you do. So it's let go of. It's no longer with you.
No, I can't say not alone. It's still with me, but it's a process, isn't it? Everything's a process. Everything can't be just like,
Why not?
why not? Because there's attachments to it. It's not just, mm, mm, Michael, hold it.
Sure.
Hello?
So you were saying about holding on to it, letting it go. It's been years. It's a process.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Just like with all clients, it's a process. It takes time. Excuse me. It's about I know what I'm worth, but people have been trying to dictate to me what I'm worth and who I am. So it's about letting go or let go of those people that haven't been as supportive
Hmm.
as they should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
It does.
So but it can be a very isolating experience as well. But the experience has to go through. You have to go through that experience yourself because you're the person who's experiencing it. Does it make sense?
Yes, it
So
does.
it's about being reflective, having compassion for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
being empathetic towards yourself,
Mm-hmm.
recognizing the person that you are compared to who people perceive you as.
Yes.
Uh, Dr. Turner talked about intersectionality
Yes.
and how people perceive people.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
when someone perceives you and they keep trying to enforce that on you, sometimes no matter how much you put that wall up to protect yourself, it's like a drip effect.
Mm-hmm.
So the water overflows sometimes and it gets too much.
Yes.
And then what happens is the vessel can either cracks or bursts. But what I'm doing, I'm pouring that water out. I'm not letting it crack or let it burst. I'm
Mm.
pouring the water out,
Mm.
but it takes time.
Yeah.
I'm not 20 anymore. I can do it quick like that.
So what I'm just wanting to do is future pace. Future pacing is where you envisage the future as something that you have now and what you imagine life would be if some of these negative ideas weren't around you. Like people didn't project stuff that isn't yours, but their stuff onto you.
Mm,
What
mm.
would life look like if one didn't have these projections put upon you?
So these projections, right. So if I had not had experienced these projections, I would have been successful. I know that because I've got the capacity to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, People would see me for my worth
Yes.
and not what they perceive of me.
Yes.
People will see that actually what I'm good at is supporting people when they're most vulnerable, supporting people when they want to address issues where they just need someone to help guide them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And give them a listening ear, compassion, like as giving myself empathy. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Being honest, and you know that I'm very honest. I'm very congruent.
Oh yes, you are. So,
To a
so,
T.
so here's a question. Describe what success looks like in terms of, yeah, your life with all of the bits in it that you describe as being fully achieved, fully recognizing oneself, with the worth that you ascribe yourself to have. So what does success look like? Not now, but in the future, you letting go of the stuff and being that person.
Being an advocate for young people when it comes to racism,
Okay.
fighting racism, discrimination, any sense of the form. Being an advocate for neurodiverse, not just ADHD and autism, but other neurodiversity.
Yep.
Being able to help and support and coach. I would do coaching or personal consultancy, which is integrated counselling and coaching put together, what I've been trained to do. Deliver that in my own business and not working for other people, because working for other people has actually hindered me from moving forward in some sense, because they put me in a box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I realized that when I work with managers or supervisors, apart from yourself, who are not people of color, they feel threatened. And then they put me in a box and they say, right, you don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I do. You're not well read. Yes, I am. I might not remember the theories, but I do know what I'm talking about here. And what you're talking about is not correct. And I remind them of the school of thought. I don't tell them what the theory is, but I remind them what it is. And then they say, oh, yes, you have a thought, you have a point in this. Or, yeah, especially when it comes to risk. I'm risk averse.
Indeed.
Risk conscious. My experience from probation, and it runs through. Do you know what I mean? So safeguarding. I'm on point with safeguarding. I am able to. I've said it already, but I'm going to say it again, reiterate it. I'm a supervisor because I'm going to do that in September. Start my supervisor. I finished my accreditation, right? In this time next year, my accreditation should be finished. My supervisor role should be finished. So I'll be accredited. I'll be an integrative counselor, supervisor, Reiki practitioner, ex-probation officer. I can't remember what else. Did I say everything else? Hold on. Did I
Personal
say
consultant?
personal consultant? Yeah, exactly. All what I'm doing now, but in a space that is really my own. Yeah, because I'm tired of supervising the supervisor. Not you, but the people that put me in the box. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So those who put me in a box, and I'm having, because I have to do it because of financial reasons. That's the only reason why I'm doing it. Otherwise, if I was financially stable, I wouldn't be doing the job that I'm doing now. I would be doing it, but not as much because it takes me away from my passion.
And your passion is supporting
people, not just students, but everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who are able to recognize the difficult path that they may go under with me, but they'll have something, even if it's a little centimeter, they move forward. It's forward. It's forward.
Yes.
They're moving forward.
Yeah, totally. You're saying some really important things. And if the centimeter of moving forward could be provided for you today, what would that look like?
It can't right now, today, if I had 10 clients, private clients, my own private clients, where I could start and work towards that and help them grow, help them recognize their self-worth, that would be an achievement for me.
I wonder what it is that you're doing to attract these clients?
Nothing. The reason why I don't like social media. I really don't like social media. Michael, put you on pause. Pause.
So you mentioned you not liking social media as a
Mm.
means to let everybody know about how great you are, just in terms of providing personal consultancy, Reiki, and this experience with the pregnant woman. Like, you could be doing so much for so many. But anyway,
I know it's just uh, hmm, even this. For example, we use this today. For example, this platform. You wanted it live. My my thoughts were what? Do you remember?
ultimately, you did not want to do it live.
Yes. No, I did not want to do it, Michael.
You didn't want to do this at
Um,
all, actually.
no,
No, but here you are.
but I'm here. Oh, yeah, I'm here. Um, it's about the perception. Now, being judged for so many years by other people and being challenged about mm, my thoughts, where people who felt that because I'm neurodivergent, I didn't have a brain,
Mm.
is that I didn't have the capacity to do such work. Um, and even now, when I mention a little bit what I do, the first thing they say, but how do you have the time to do that? And I'm thinking, what do you mean by have the time? What do you mean? Well, so you're challenging racism in schools in Kent. Yes. You're working, yes, with an establishment in Kent, yes, which is mental. You've got your private business, yes.
You're a
What's the
mother.
problem here?
You're a
I'm a
mother.
mum. I'm a mum. I'm a grandmother.
Hmm.
Um, what is the issue here? What is it that you're thinking? What is it that you see that I should not be doing? Because for one, I'm not going to allow my child to be racially abused in school by people who of authority. So I have to make sure that he is protected. I have to be a role model for the people I work with
Mm.
because at the end of the day, what I'm seeing is if I don't stand up for my rights as a person, how can I encourage anybody to stand up for their rights as a person, as an individual? And that's why I make sure that I do that. Yes, it takes time, but I'm also going and also when they say to me, so why are you fighting for young people who experience racism in schools in Kent? Because nobody else is doing it.
Mm.
So if no one else is doing it, I'm gonna try and do it. Yeah. No matter how long it takes. It's not just my child. I'm from a black African eccentric person. So it takes more than a family, it takes a village. Yeah. So I want to be part of that village to actually support people of color and other ethnicities. I'm not BAME. Don't do that. But people of color and ethnicities. That's where I want to challenge people.
So what I'm curious about is what the next 5, 6 months look like, the next year looks like, and the next 3 years look like. With you having 10 plus clients, with you letting the world know how much you are involved with it, so that you are successful in all the eyes, well, with your own eyes, looking at yourself and then the work.
Well, I'll be doing a course, supervisory course, which you're helping me through, and the accreditation, BACP. I didn't want to do that. I'll still anti that, but okay. That's another thing. The reason why I didn't want to do it, because evidencing that what you can do. Do you know what I mean? When you're doing it already, but I understand the background of that anyway. So in 6 months' time, I'll be finished the accreditation, and I'll be doing, well, submitted my accreditation, and then I'll be starting my supervisory course in September. That's 6 months, and try to build my business up in that time. 6 months. Let's start at 6 months. Okay. What's the question for 6 months? I know you got a question.
Well, ultimately, I just want to know, per 6 months, once you've completed the accreditation process, once you've begun your training course to become a supervisor, which I think it's a done deal. You're already a supervisor. I'm sure you are supervising others in your capacity now. What happens once? What happens after?
After the in a year's time, as I said to you before, that I'll finish the accreditation, I'll be accredited. Another piece of paper. I'll be supervisor, another piece of paper. That's the thing. I don't believe in. I do it, but I don't wholly believe in academics. Why do people have evidence that they can do this, do a job through paper? It's just discrimination for neurodivergent people. Do you know what I mean? And it's so frustrating. Anyway, that's my frustration rant over. So any academics listening to this, please remember, dyslexic people are not stupid. Dyspraxic people, the people who are neurodivergent are not stupid. It's a different way of learning. Please adapt, be more creative in your delivering in education, because it's just frustrating. A piece of paper. Anyway, prove to the world you can do it. So that's my rant over. Sorry, Michael. Supervising counsellors or people within a clinical environment that requires supervision. Hopefully that I'll be utilizing those skills that I've already got, but enhancing them through the course and growing more. Does it make sense in that sense? So I'm not just supporting, I'll be supporting new counsellors, hopefully, established counsellors, other supervisors if necessary, where I can, if I can do that, I'm not too sure. But the course sense that I can. Okay, thanks. People, I'll be doing my coaching, my counselling, and hopefully I'm going to do my masters in my Reiki next year, so I can teach Reiki. That's the aim.
That is news to me. That's really brilliant news.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do it for a long time, but it's the finances because it's quite expensive. So let me do one thing at a time. So I can teach Reiki once you're a master, you can teach Reiki. Amazing sometimes, isn't it? Surprising sometimes, isn't it, Michael?
Okay, there are questions just piling up here.
Yeah.
Just in relation to how much you've done already, how much you are doing now, and what you are looking to do in the future. I know this because I'm your supervisor. In fact, I just found out about the masters in Reiki. But who else knows? Who else knows about what you've done, what you're doing, and what you plan to do in the future? And if you're not using social media, It's a faster way of getting that information out. That's an idea I'm just providing for you.
Our LinkedIn, yeah, our LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, so my information is there. It's not coherent. I get hits on my LinkedIn profile daily, daily. Back today, I think I got about 16 hits this morning. But I think what's stopping is the language. Yeah, and I think I can't do anything about that because I don't have that support to help me. No one to support me to say, Sue, you can do. You can if you phrase it this way, it can get hit the point more poignant. If someone don't phone me and say to me, talk to me, they won't understand, and that is a problem. So when I'm trying to put things across on LinkedIn, it sounds, oh, you're aggressive, or you're not very communicative. Yeah, it's not intentional. It's not intentional. It's how my mind works. So it's not coming across as we can hire this person or we can work with this person because I'll use the example what I did with my child's school is that when this um the challenging racism in the school, I was perceived as an angry parent, black woman, angry black woman. And I'm putting that in big quotes because I'm not an angry black woman. Well, I can be, but I'm not today. Or winning a professional role. But when I got to the last person, who's actually the complaints person for the board, she said, "But you're not an angry person because who said I was angry? It's a perception that someone has made for me and it's filtered through because I'm challenging people, I'm stretching people about what they perceive a black person to be. Because you're and I highlighted to her to say to her, you're the first person who sat in a room without a barrier between us. I highlighted that. And she said, oh my gosh, Mrs. Brown, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. I goes, this is experience I've had for the last 9 months to get to you. You're the first person who actually spoke to me with a bit of compassion and not on the defense. Because what your colleagues fail to recognize that I'm a counselor and I read body language very well. And she was like taken aback. So it's the communication. So when I'm communicating with people, people think, oh, she's not grammatically correct. Her sentence structure is not good. Do you know what I mean? All these things, it's true. This is what happens, Michael. It is about that. Do you know what I mean? She doesn't know what she's doing because she can't string a sentence together. It, that's why I'm told it doesn't make sense. A lot of the professionals nowadays is all about scholarship, being scholars, not necessarily. Yeah. I won't call myself a scholar. I call myself a person, an interactive person, a humanistic person who work humanistically with people and creatively with people to get whatever support they need. I think outside the box, I don't think inside the box. It's not really welcomed in a neurotypical world. It's very hard to come across. And that's what the thing. I don't have the support to sell myself out there because it's when I sell myself, it doesn't come across as positive. But me being truthful and being congruent is a barrier, can be a barrier. For example, one of the posts I saw a post and I said, I'm anti-racist. No one liked it. Nobody. But that made me question, what is it about that statement that people felt uncomfortable with? What is it about the statement that people thought, I can't click like on that?
It's a really important question to have asked. We have about 5 minutes left. You've put some really fantastic ideas forward here for yourself and for the work that you will be doing in the future, the work that you're currently doing now. I'm wondering, this is a big question, has anything changed for you in terms of how you see yourself and success?
I deserve success. That's one I statement. There you are.
And what are you going to do to achieve it?
I know I need support to get my point across. But I'm a very rare flower where unless people are willing to look at it or take a sniff, not being derogative, but not negatively, but using the metaphor, they won't see the benefit of it. Because I think I'm a medicinal flower where I can help people, even if I'm pretty looking when I'm alive, but even if I'm with her and I come back again, that the one that I wither, they can use it for medicinal purposes or supportive purposes or goal-orientated purposes or healing purposes.
This will be my last question. What's come up for you as a result of this conversation?
But even in this conversation, I have been helping you as well. And hopefully I can help other people who's willing to take a risk and work with me.
Any last words?
Thank you, Michael. Again, stretching me.
Thank you, Sue.
We've done this now. Thank you.